Again, good morning, and Cindy and I are very glad to be here. This is our home congregation. We grew up in Rome and know many of you here. And many of us have moved on to a better place, but we're glad to be back to give a final report of our work in India. We're concluding that work. I'll have one more trip there for legal reasons, and then the work will become fully an Indian work by our Indian brothers. And so I wanted to go over that and show you all the things that you've been involved in, and so thankful for what Oak Hill has done over all these years. Actually, when I started the preaching school, my wife has my dates, but somewhere in the 1970s, it was Oak Hill that first gave me support when you were at the old Rock Church. And you have supported me through preaching school for 4 years. And when I started this ministry, you were the first ones to come on board and helping us in our ministry in India. So I'm very, very thankful for all you've done and continue to do in the work. And let me see, what did I do? Cut it off. So to the Oak Hill congregation, I always think of Galatians 6, 9, and 10, that we should be ready for, every good work, particularly to those of the household of faith, but to all men. And that's what you've been doing, and I'm so grateful that you've been involved in what we've done in India. And again, this is sort of an open question thing. If you have a question or comment, let me know. And I hope I'll have maybe 4 or 5 minutes at the end that I can answer any questions you might have about this work. I began this spiritual sword mission. We've been there from 2007 to 2026, just completed 20, entering 21 years of work in India. And so this is the end of our American Christian work. The work doesn't end. It will go on, I hope, for generations with our Bible school and our academic English medium school, which is highly sought after where I'm at. Most of the military people want their kids in my school. Even the government people who don't like Christians, they want their kids in my school. It's a highly academic school. And it's one of the best schools you could find anywhere, probably within 100, 200 miles from where we're located. So we're very well on the success of ending this work, and it'll continue as a school that teaches the Bible every day, and all taught by Christians who are members of the church. And our board, who will oversee this work, and I'll show you their pictures later on, they're all members of the church. Most of them were kids I brought up, and now they're adults, and they work for us. And so I'm very comfortable about returning this work to the Indian brothers. When I began this work, this scripture kept coming to my mind, and that's why I came up with the name, the Mustard Seed Village. And God has blessed us. I mean, He really has blessed us in everything that we've done. I've never had problems in raising funds for this work, and anywhere I've gone, we've been able to receive funds. You've been so helpful and sacrificially helpful in the things you've done for the work. And so I thank you so much for all of that. And while sometimes people, why are you in India? There's so many places in the world to go, and I've looked at Africa, and I've been down to Ghana and things like that. I've looked at Nepal, spent time in Nepal, but I settled on India mainly because of about, 5 billion people now. I believe that COVID took out about 6 million of them, but anyway, that's the largest population on Earth. 1 in 6 people on the planet Earth are Indian, and that's hard to believe that, that's 1 in 6 people you walk by is of Indian descent or of Indian. And so that's one of the reasons I wanted to go there. The main reason was to try to tackle this Hindu religion where they have, you can estimate maybe 100,000 different gods that they worship all over India, many types of gods, and none of them are the true living God. All of their gods are gods of their imagination. They're gods that's come through their histories, hundreds of years. They've developed their religious ideas, and they have all different types of God. This child god here, Shiva, is a highly important God in India. And there's so many, and we're there to try to tell them there's one true living God and show them the fallacy of these many, many gods that they're involved in. There's so many of them. There's Shiva on the left, and that's Humanan on the right, a very popular god, the business god of India. You'll see him, a statue of him in many cars, like taxis. You'll see him in all the shops of businesses, and they burn incense every day, morning, noon, and night, to their gods in the businesses that they have. Just so many of them. The first god up there on the left is a very popular god. And we look at him, he's an elephant god. His name is Ganges, and he's highly worshipped throughout all of India. The one on the bottom left is another aspect of him. And then you see these gods here. Some of these look very tough. The one in the middle is a god you worship because you're afraid of dying, or you're afraid of something happening to you, so you worship this god that something bad won't happen to you. So they have a God to worship for every reason you can ever imagine, and they need to understand the true God. And we've done so many things over there, and I say we because it's not me, it's all of us. And I appreciate all you've done to help make this possible. I can't go through this whole list, but this is just some of the things that we've accomplished there. I highlighted the Antioch press because that's our printing press that we've had for many years, that we print Bibles and thousands upon thousands of tracts that go out into the brotherhood and small congregations. And that now has been turned over to another brother for about 4 years now. He's doing a great job as an Indian brother overseeing the Antioch press. And you can see like all the things we've done with land and buses in our school, jungle evangelism, medical evangelism. And you'll see slides of this as we go through that. Okay. Thank you, all of you. So many of you have adopted a child and supported a child for years and years. And I appreciate you doing that. That period is now over. It meant so much to these kids to receive letters or to know that they were being supported by an American Christian. And that really helped me a lot. I think it began at $40 a month, and we dropped it to $25 eventually. But many of you adopted kids, and that was very helpful to these kids and to us as we began to build the school to where now it's a self-sufficient school and runs on the money that I bring in on tuition in India. And all these little kids now are pretty well grown. The one on the far right, he's been working for me for 4 years teaching the Bible to the other kids. So they really grow up. This was our first class group of kids that ever came to me in 2008. And I was in India a little earlier, but I moved over to Jagun and built the first orphanage. And this was the first group. Most of these are Lisu, from the Lisu tribe up on the Chinese border, Indian, but they came to me through the jungles. They walked those kids for about 7 days through the jungle to bring them to me. And I can still remember them coming over the hill, coming down into Mustard Seed Village, as we call that first orphanage. And you can see they're pretty poor, but so eager to come and to learn. This is the first things that we built there. We built those out of bamboo. We cut the bamboo in the jungle, floated it down the river at night because it's sort of illegal to do that, then brought it over to the village and split it up and then weaved it together and made the things that we built, each one of these cottages. There were 3 boys' cottages and 3 girls' cottages. And we have a school way back there in the back and the big kitchen area, other big building and offices. And we enjoyed that. We was there from 2008 to 2012 and really enjoyed our time with those kids. And I guess of all my times in India, probably those years were the most favorite years I've spent was in that small village that we built. And we've done so much village evangelism. We call it backpack evangelism, taking Bibles and tracts in our backpack, some water, and just head out into the jungles to different villages, Choctaw villages, Lisu villages, many Naga villages. And we go in these, we call poor villages, but the longer I've been in India, I'm thinking we're the poor ones, not them. They know how to live simple, to take each day at a time, not have all the worries that we have in modern society. And so I thought, well, maybe they are the ones that are lucky, and we're the ones that must struggle with materialism and worldliness that exists in our world today. But here I'm in the Choctaw village getting ready to I'm going to do a medical camp. The brothers are all preachers, been through my preaching school, and they'll be teaching and everything while I'm treating patients. And you see one brother up there doing a Bible study with another man. And primitive medical camps, I've done so many of them going into extreme areas and do medical camps where they've never had American medicine. And really, 80% of our medicines here in this country comes from India. It's produced in India and brought here. And so I'm able to buy any type of medicine in India I can buy. And so I buy and I treat these patients based upon what I can determine what might be wrong with them. But this is a primitive account, and you can see the mud-clad house that we have set up there. And I think this might be on the edge of Badogra in Nepal, the country of Nepal. And then I've done 3 earthquakes, and this was the biggest one in Nepal, 2015. I remember going in there when that happened. Went to Kathmandu, which is the capital, to get permission and everything. And so you see the devastation that took place there. Kathmandu lost so many of their temples. That's been in existence for 1,000 years or more. And all the road, there's only one major circular road in Nepal. That was just cracked up many places. So we walked the riverbed for 2 days to get to the epicenter, then climb the mountain to begin treating these people. And just some pictures of that. You may have seen these in an earlier presentation of what we've done. One of the things that's always bothered me about India is the poverty there. particularly in the big cities like Calcutta or Delhi or Chennai or Mumbai. And you can see some pictures taken on the streets there. I think most of those I took in Calcutta. How poor these people, they live on the streets and they die on the streets. At night they have something they lay out and they sleep on it. Calcutta is a super hot city. And it's pretty close to the ocean. And there's some pictures of the poverty that I've seen and taken pictures of, and we try to help these people the best we can. We don't give money to begging children. We'll take them and buy them something to eat at a shop. We do not give money to them because they'll take that money and give to whoever is overseeing them. There are many children who have been kidnapped and taken into the cities, and they're made them to become beggars on the street. So you have to be very careful with that. This is a woman on the railroad tracks, and we go to the railroad tracks, and I guess India has the biggest railroad system in the world. But on those tracks, you see so many poor women, probably been abused and raped and mistreated, as I think this woman on the left was. She lives on the track. She carries a stick for protection. And, I try to help them as I see them. And I'm hoping one day India will learn somehow to take them out of the railroad tracks and help them in some way. On the right's in Chennai, Pondicherry, a French colony. And you can see sort of the French design in the boats and so forth there. These are two little girls who make plastic bracelets at night, with their parents or someone. And then all day long they go up and down selling those bracelets. And I bought a few from them. Midwifery was big in India. I began the first midwifery clinic, and we have treated many pregnancies. I think I helped deliver 38 babies. And so it's been a big thing. I have a midwife place at my school. Now I've ended that now since I won't be there anymore. But with that, I took them and trained them for about a month. They come to me from the villages. I take one woman from each jungle village. They come to me and stay. And I train them on how to properly deliver a baby. You remember you helped me make kits for delivering babies. They came from all over the country. We shipped thousands over there. And from those kits, we were able to teach them how to use the kit, give them the blood pressure machine that doesn't need any kind of electricity or Bluetooth, and give them the stethoscopes, things they need to monitor a birth. And I think they've gone a long way in helping women have proper births in India. India still leads the world in women dying at birth and babies dying at birth. Primary reason, the uncleanness of the birthing process. So we were trying to make a difference there. Here's two of the women. This is up in the Gandhigram village. And here they're receiving a birthing kit that we have sent over there. Comes with a little hat, a little blanket, the entire birthing kit for them to help give birth, a razor blade, a plastic thing to lay on. Now we're able to use the things you buy in the hospital that you don't slide around on. And they go a long way in helping these people. These girls, women, they look like they're fairly older, and they have babies throughout their times of menstruation period. But they'll go into their huts and have the babies themselves, if they don't have anyone to help them. Medical missions I've done all over, not only, with birthing, but primarily with medical needs and medical conditions. Here I'm doing a medical mission on a roadside in Bihar where the massive flood killed thousands of people, drowned, and I was there helping them out. And here's another flood relief on the Brahmaputra, about 100 miles below me. That river, the Brahmaputra, if you look it up, is a massive river. It floods every year. And it's the poor people who's forced to live along the riverbanks, And so when the floods come, a lot of them drown. And so we go in and that truck we've rented, and we go in and we distribute things they sleep on and things they might need to set the house back up, and food and things like that. So that's an example there. And then in 2013, we moved from the old village to Arunachal Pradesh, outside of Miao. And I moved there because I was having much problem with the government in Assam. Assam is highly Hindu, and they just didn't like my orphanage there, and they gave me much problems there, so I decided to move everything to Arunachal, which is a little bit more acceptable of what we do. And this began our school. This is our mustard village for boys, and the school is built around it. Here's a picture of the boys' hostel. I have 4 hostels now, but this is one of them that holds about 80, 90 boys. And the government just come along last time I was there about 2 months ago and said, you got to take all these bunk beds down. We made a law that everyone must have a single bunk. I'm just going to ignore it. And we made these bunk beds. They will never collapse and never fall. And it would cut the population of the boys in half, because I don't have space for single beds. And so we'll just ignore that and hopefully they'll leave us alone. This is the school. This is just recently taken. The kids are out getting ready for school time to start. That's part of the school. I now have 32 classrooms. These classrooms that make a U shape, and just built a new building in the back that I'll show you in a moment. This is our Rainbow Village. Boys live at Mustard Seed Village. The girls live at Rainbow Village, named after a little baby who passed away a long, long time ago, and her grandparents helped me build this village in her name. So I named it after her, Rainbow. And we keep all the rainbow colors in this village. And you can see many people just drive into the village to see all the colors and everything. And that gives us opportunity to talk with them. But we have about 150, 160 girls who live in the Rainbow Village. A lot of them are orphans. A lot of them are paying kids now. And here I was maybe a couple of months ago with a friend of mine from Knoxville, Bob Yoder. And here we are just painting. We always keep the colors updated there. It just helps bring people in. It just looks good to the kids. And, one thing about India that I like, when you have a birthday, people bring you presents. Yes? Can we ask you questions? Sure. So, you said that it's illegal to have them off beds, but you have to keep them anyway. What happens if you break the law there? You're not going to do it? I'm sorry, I'm going to listen to you. My hearing's not that good. Say that again, Sue. Huh? You said that having the lock beds is illegal, right? That's what they're trying to. So what happens if you break the law there? Well, the law is state by state, and I live in a very primitive jungle area. I don't think they have the ability to enforce me to do that. And because we're a Christian school, they're always going to try to find something to disrupt us. So I don't think they'll bother us. And again, I know many of the officials and many of the military people. I can bring them in on my side. It would take care of it. That's a good question. You want to follow the law of the land, but yeah. Right. If you have laws that's set by the federal government or by the state government, but these are local gumbroys, people who are brought up and they just oversee a certain village. And they have no training, no expertise, but in that village they have the power of life and death. So you have to deal with them, be careful with them. Good thing about it, I know two of the gumbroys close to this village, and they will come and speak for me. So, but we'd have to build another big building, which you're looking at maybe in $80,000, $100,000. I can't afford that. That's a good question. Here we are at our tea gardens at Rainbow, where we have a lot of tea that we pluck and put by the roadside, and they come and pick it up and weigh it, and then they pay us once a month based on how much tea that the girls pluck. And they don't really like doing it too much, but it's only you pluck from about April to about September, then the plucking season is over. But we can make a little bit of money doing that. Yeah, this is Assam tea. There's only two teas in the world. You either have Chinese tea or Assamese tea. And one's long leaf and one is a short leaf tea. And here we're growing Assam tea, a long leaf tea. Here my girls are working in our gardens. We have about 14 acres under cultivation. We pretty well grow everything we eat there. And you see how great the soil is. It's alluvial soil. We can grow about anything. And we can grow year round. There's no frost or anything in the jungle. So we can plant, plow, fertilize, put cow manure on it, and then replant. And so right now we're getting through with our cabbages and things like that. Now we've planted corn and okra. They call okras ladies' fingers. Well, I saw a lady with fingers like an okra. I don't know about that. Our tractors, you've helped me with both of these. The one on the right's our newest one. We just bought maybe a year ago, not even quite a year ago. The old one there we still have. It can't plow, but it can pull. And so we pull things around with it. But the new one is really good. We can plow up to 8 to 10 inches deep. And so it's really, really helpful in planting our gardens. No, I can buy them. I have to go about 70, 80 miles away to a factory and buy them. These are Indian tractors. Yeah. And India sort of protects their commerce against American things coming in. Yet they want to ship us many things, which we accept. But I do see Caterpillar over there sometimes, mainly in the big equipment. You see our corn growing. We can grow tons of corn. We have major crops because we put that on top of the rice. We'll boil it, put it on top of the rice. It's called curry, and that's what they will eat. Okra, we mix it all together. And so they want rice. I don't eat rice, so it's a struggle for me in India. But They take rice and whatever we can put in the pot to boil down and put over the rice. And they have 2 big plates of rice a day, and sometimes even one at 12 or 1 o'clock. Here's some of our gardens growing. You see how well our cabbage can do, and our beans are coming in very well, and all so forth. And then we began to build the full school that I'll show you some pictures of. You can see the school coming together, and this school has been here for about 5 or 6 years now as far as being fully developed. And so you see the school is coming around. This will be 22 classrooms when we completed it, plus our offices on this side where I'm taking the picture from. And then our last building we built, a major building, is a multi-purpose building. It will seat 500 people. And with that building, we're able to do so much with it. Remember, India has a monsoon rains. I mean, it starts raining in April. You're going to have rains every day until about June. Then the monsoon rains come with heavy, heavy rains that won't quit until about, 1st of September, you know. And so we need a place for the kids to gather in assembly without being totally drenched. And so we decided to build this building. I decided to build in 2019 by the time COVID hit. So by the time I got all my workers there and everything, COVID hit, and the Prime Minister said everyone is to go back and live in their home village until we figure out what's happening, which was the worst thing he could have said, because they just took COVID with them all over India. And I buried 3 of my employees with COVID, and I suffered COVID-D very seriously over there when I was there. But anyway, it took me about 4 years to complete this building due to COVID. But you can see the building coming up. It's a large building. And you can see the structure coming up. And here it is cemented. And here we are painting it. TEMCS is Theophilus English Medium Christian School. And that's the name of our school. And that's that we use. And you can, now, these are recent pictures. We've decided, because of so much rain, we've decided to brick the driveway all the way around and also brick the courtyard. Those bricks cost me about 6 cents each, you know, not very expensive on our side. And that will help us an awful lot, keeping the dirt off of people and off of going into the classrooms. This is the last building. I just completed it. It's 5 large classrooms. I've got my preschool and kindergarten in there, okay? And I've got it ready with the stairways. I can build 5 more rooms on the top. But that will be up to the foundation board in the future. They have to make that decision and all. So that's the last building. I just finished it. These are my walls that go around. By Indian law, you must wall in your school for safety and security. So I used to have pictures of the heroes of India, military, athletic, but I changed it all recently, and I wanted to, from the Mary to the Ascension of Christ. So all the way down, when people drive by the road, it's the only road in India. I mean, not India, but in Arunachal. They can see the story of Christ as they drive by and know that we are Christian in everything we do. Here's an assembly taking place in the multipurpose building. This is a fairly recent picture. They're getting ready to they'll do their pledge, get the announcements, have our prayer and scripture reading before they go to their classroom. And this begins at 7:30 in the morning that they are to be there. And you can see that. Here's their off uniform, we call a PE uniform that they're wearing. Here's some pictures of our classroom, just very modern update. If you go in any schools there now, they're very small. They have wooden benches, with tables. I remember the old log cabin days. That's basically how they treated it over there. But I made ours very modern, much like American schools. My experiences in American schools. Yes, ma'am. No, it's private. You know, that's fully owned by us, you know, and fully private. Now, we're CBSE certified. That means we're certified by the government, which is a blessing. It took me a long time to get that done. But that means they will come and inspect, which is not a problem because we meet every rule they could imagine. But here's some pictures of the kids in their classrooms. And these were just maybe 2 weeks old right here, where they're getting certificates and for academics and for athletics and so forth. Roshan there is now my president. He was an 8-year-old boy who came to me here. I brought him up, and now he's the president of the whole organization. And he's doing a great job. He's 24 years old, so he has a lot of stress on him, but super smart. Nothing he can't do with a computer. You know, just more pictures of this is a kindergarten classroom, and you know, some recent pictures. This looks like this may have been World Health Day or something. They're drawing pictures of in different classes. This boy is sitting in my computer room. I have 10 computers set up. I wish I had Wi-Fi. There's no Wi-Fi anywhere around there. I keep praying that Elon Musk will send Starlink over the area, but he's got to wait till maybe there's a lot more people living in the area. And some pictures of the kids. These are very recent pictures. This is our science lab, which is highly used by our teachers. The teacher there has been with me since the beginning there. About 12 years she's been with me. A very good teacher. She's a Hindu, high caste Hindus, which are hard to convert, but I'm working on her. When I left a couple of months ago, she gave me a picture. It was a beautiful artistic drawing of Christ that she had drawn, painted, of what she thought Christ would look like. And so I have it framed and painted. It's in my living room right now, but we're working on her. This is just a larger class for the older students. We go through class 10 now. Class 10 is considered the end of high school in India. 11 and 12 is considered junior college. But that's changing. We will add 11 and 12 later on. I say we, they will, as they decide to do so. These are some of my college kids. They've grown up with me from little girls, all orphan girls, most of them, I believe. And I've sent them to college. 3 of them have just graduated. They teach in my school now. The one on the left is Monica. She got her degree in finance and accounting. She now runs my finance department. She's just excellent, And so I'm very glad of doing that. Again, they all been brought up by me. They know only Christianity and what we've taught them over the years. And so as I get them graduated, they become my teachers, fully certified. And that way I know my teachers know exactly about Christ and what they need to be teaching the kids throughout the academic day. One of our libraries, this is a children's library that we have. Y'all helped me send many, many thousands of books over there for both religious purposes and educational purposes. Here's some of the kids, and this is a second child's library over in the multipurpose building. And here they're doing some drawing. I think that little boy on the beginning there looks like my drawing. But anyway, they're trying. Yeah, this is Delina. She's my principal. She just had this meeting. Our school started May 18th is the first day of school. We have a totally different calendar you would have in the U.S. And she's just a powerful principal. She's been with me for quite a while now. And she's doing in-service with my teachers, which would require 2 weeks of in-service, and getting them ready for the new school year. Sadly, she will leave July 1st because she's pregnant, and her baby's due sometime in late July. So she's taking a 3-month leave. But I have others that can take care of the school, not a problem. But she is excellent, and she's a member of the church. Anyone who sits on my board or works for me must be a member of the church. There's 4 of my school buses here. We're the only ones that run school buses anywhere in the area. And it's a challenge. These roads are pretty narrow, not much from this pew to this pew, a lot of them. So trying to get a bus down them can be a chore. But we've figured them out, and we have places we stop. And now we probably have at least 200, 250 day scholars who get on the bus and come to our school. And that's good because hostels, you have to feed them, clothe them, take care of their medicine. But here we just pick them up and take them back to their homes. So that's really helpful. And this is where we begin the construction of is that coffee time? Okay, I'm about through. This is Meow Road Church of Christ. We also worship in the multipurpose building. We helped them build it. But we keep our congregation separate from the school. It's the work of the church, but we want to keep it separate. And you can see we're getting ready for our assembly on Sunday morning. We have huge crowds that come. All of our all of our hostel students who live in the hostels must come. And then a lot of parents come. And of course, all our staff come. So we have a good crowd for preaching. And you can see how large we can sit. Like I say, up to 500. There's probably 300, 350 gathered for worship here. Here's our baptism that we have a baptistry. Rakia, we baptized her just recently. I've worked with her for many years. Her mother was set on fire by her father in front of her and burned to death in front of her eyes. So she had many psychological problems we had to work with. And she was a kleptomaniac. She would steal everything from everybody. I still think my favorite Bible, she got it, but I will never know. But she's become a good girl now. It's taken a while to do that, but she's just excellent. And now she's become a Christian and a member of the church. And now she's working for me at the school. Crates, y'all have helped me with 5 shipment of crates, and that made such a difference with all the books and flip-flops and clothing and medicines and tools that we've shipped over there. Okay, here's some baptism. That's what we're there for, to bring people to Christ. There's some pictures of baptisms taking place in many different places, muddy pools, waters, rivers, where we can bring them to Christ. Let me back up. This is my board that will oversee everything as I leave work. And these are just some of Matthew. He's overseeing the Mustard Seed Village for boys. He's very, very good. There's Delina, my principal, sits as the secretary of the board. Monica is my finance manager. Anand Chakmal, he's my over my Bible school program, very good at that, and overseeing the teaching of all that program. Nirmal, we brought up from a little boy. I picked him up many years ago. His mother was laying dead on the ground, ready to be cremated, as they would do. And I brought him back a long time ago, and now he runs security for me. Badapi on the right was a little boy at 8, maybe 7, came to me. Now he's head of my maintenance department. So we're basically, I won't say inbreeding, but we're raising our children up to run our work. And I'm just excited about that. I hope their kids one day will carry it on. Here's our board meeting at the end. They meet once a month, and then a called meeting is needed. And they make all the decisions. They still send me the minutes for my final approval, but that will stop very soon. So I know for future needs, of course, while I'm ending this work, I hope our prayers will always keep going. There'll be no end to that. This is a recognition for the churches. This is painted on the big multi-purpose building. It's huge. Each letter is 1 foot long. And I just wanted everyone to know in India that it's appreciation to the churches of Christ in America that we're able to do with the things we've done for all these years in India. And so I hope God will bless you as you labor in your work here at Oak Hill and continue the good work here. Any questions? Thank you for your questions. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Not where I'm at. If I go 20 miles down the road, I get Wi-Fi. But that's in another state. If I go into Assam, I can pick up Wi-Fi. But where I'm at, there's no Wi-Fi. That's why I'm hoping Elon Musk will send one of his satellites over the area. It would make a big, big difference. Okay. Good question.
I noticed one of the pictures you started out with, the children didn't have on any shoes.
Where were they at?
That was at the beginning of it.
Okay. Yeah, you know, in India, you don't wear shoes in houses. You don't wear shoes in classrooms. You don't wear shoes in the multi-purpose building. It's just a courtesy to take your shoes off before going in. And the primary reason is dirt, you know, not tracking up everything. It's pretty good custom. And so I've learned to adapt to it. And they like to come out of the shoes and go barefoot as often as possible. Good question. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.